Next up, we have OurWorlds, so let's welcome them to the stage.
Walking through Austin this week and looking at all these buildings, standing here in this room, I can't help but wonder, what used to be here? Our software turns back the hands of time to allow users to connect with stories in past worlds. Miawa, Nateawa, Kilma Latin. I'm Kilma Latin, founder and CEO of OurWorlds, joined today by co-founder and CTO Catherine Ng. Not only is what we're doing incredibly fascinating, but it's also important for education. First, it's no secret that Native Americans are underserved, and in particular with STEM. Some tribes still don't have reliable access to the internet. Second, as a student of history, I know the subject is incomplete, it can be a little tedious, and it's largely written from the perspective of outsiders. We're addressing both of these problems in the most transformative ways possible. Imagine a future where education unfolds around you wherever you go. The idea that as you move through your day, you're also moving through content relevant to the place where you are. We enable devices to unlock the stories around us. We're bridging the space-time continuum by georeferencing the past with our present for the future. What can indigenous wisdom teach us about the metaverse? More than you might think. Indigenous wisdom tells us that knowledge transfer happens in nature, deeply tied to the places where we are. We're redefining the metaverse model to incorporate this wisdom and also adopt a communal approach to world building. On the screen, you see some work that we did with Dr. Stanley Rodriguez, a tribal elder, whose primary source narratives are teaching us about geosciences, history, language, and geography of the Kumeyaay people who have lived in San Diego for over 10,000 years. And in fact, he's such a strong believer in our work that he's now on our board of advisors. We're putting code to culture, and in the process, we're bringing a more profound meaning to the use of immersive realities. The scope, it's global. Because whether you're interested in Native Americans or not, there's no shortage of content that we can bring to life in this way, anywhere in the world, including here in Austin. We wanted to start at the beginning of American history with a primary source series dedicated to the Native American. Think Pokemon Go meets the Smithsonian, all from a primarily Native-owned company. We're capturing intergenerational imaginations, inspiring Native Americans of all ages to participate in our process and owning their digital futures. We're also beginning to capture the attention of institutions, conferences, festivals, and journalists who understand that an inclusive approach to world building benefits everybody. But one key question is, what do Indian tribes think about this? Over the course of 18 months, we've secured the endorsement of over 25 tribal nations. In addition, the South by Southwest world premiere of our XR film, debuting next week, has the endorsement of the third largest Indian tribe in the United States, the Choctaw Nation of Oklahoma. We're deeply humbled to be the company that's building all of these bridges. It's a testament to our model. Our software was formed as a benefit corporation to raise private capital in order to develop our software while serving our humanitarian mission. Our advisory board is comprised of leaders in education and science, and they're passionate about sharing our mission as well. So join us in creating the future, because every square mile has a story, and we'll help you find it. Thank you. Come on stage. We'll share a microphone, I guess, for the
questions from the judges, please.
Sure. Hi.
Can you tell me a little more about the business model?
Yeah, that's a great question. So certainly what we're doing has great intersection with K-12 mainstream education. And so for that audience, we would think about creating curricula that's on a subscription-based model, because we are going to be adding content over time. And that's, we see the project as partly a technology project and partly really a content project. And by content, we are courting contributors all over the country, and we hope to keep expanding that. And certainly for the the content that we're creating, it has great intersections with foundations, and it aligns very nicely with the missions of cultural heritage preservation.
I'll add something to that. We did a pilot project where we opened up an indigenous marketplace for a few days to see if we could tie the content to an artist from New Mexico. And we were able to raise some money as being a broker with a native marketplace. And so this is a great way to engage native artists who now have to take all of their stuff to Santa Fe or to powwows. They have to trek all their stuff, and it's, Indian reservations are so remote, so we're able now to bridge that gap for Indian arts and crafts, which do sell at a premium, by the way, because Indian arts and crafts are highly sought after.
Does that answer your question? No, go ahead.
Do you all currently have any curriculum connected to the app? So like the one you were showing right now about in San Diego, how does that connection work beyond just seeing what you're seeing when you're maybe using augmented reality?
No, absolutely. We're in the process of developing curricula for that. It has great intersections with geography, history, standards-aligned, NGSS curricula. And, our educational advisor, Christina Steiner, who you saw on our presentation, is advising us as to how those kinds of narratives can intersect with mainstream education. And, certainly on the back end in the technology, we're building in, engagement metrics and, sort of inflection points. So where do the students actually, repeat the video? Where do they, what videos did they watch over and over again? And from those metrics, we can gauge, what it is they need to know more about it, and we're able to then supply pathways to additional content that would support their inquiry. Does that answer your question?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, great. I'll go to the questions from the audience. The most popular question so far is a two-part question. Mm-hmm. How is content created? And if via users, how is it moderated?
Oh, that's a great question. So in terms of how content is actually created, we are, Kilma has been absolutely instrumental in this, and it really can't be overstated how important it is to have a really intentional, sort of culturally correct approach to addressing the issues of knowledge creation and getting everyone's voices into the knowledge continuum. I think one of the reasons why there's been a disparity in historical perspectives is because some of the knowledge creation paradigms haven't always intersected in the best way. So certainly the approach that we've found successful is to invite people to come to our studio. We interview them. They provide our narratives. We film them in our volumetric video or 360 degree content capture processes, and we develop the content with their input. And as far as the second part of the question, yeah, user input. So we will one day have a user tool that enables people to share their perspectives from their geolocations. And we do think that moderation is certainly something that needs to be looked at in the context of how social media is done today, right? So we are working on something that's more kind of like an upvote process. So does that answer your question?
It was from the audience, so I can't respond to that.
Yeah.
But I do have one more question. I think we
Yes,
have time for just one more.
Okay.
What does collaboration look like with organizations who are doing this, such as Movers and Shakers NYC?
I was so pleased to be able to meet Idris from Movers and Shakers. I met. Are you in the audience? Are you asking the question? So essentially, we love what you're doing, and I think that certainly both of our missions align very nicely, and we are basically using the real world, if we can call it metaverse. To tell stories in a place-based inquiry, moment of inquiry kind of way, and. Yeah, thank you. So, yeah, does that answer it? Yes. So.
Perfect. Yeah, I think we are just now at time,
Yeah,
so
perfect.
wonderful.
Thank you so much.